So, if you've ever been locked in a dispute with your condo management, you know exactly how frustrating that can be. But there's a formal legal starting point for sorting it all out. Today, we are going to break down the one rule you absolutely have to know: Regulation 19. You know that feeling, right? You're in a disagreement with your condo management, and every email, every conversation, it just leads to a dead end. It feels like you're just hitting a brick wall. Well, the good news is there's an actual official process designed for exactly this kind of situation. It's a real path forward. All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about navigating these disputes in general. Then we're going to zoom right in on Regulation 19 itself. We'll look at the official meeting it sets up, the rules that run the show, and then, the most important part, what all of this means for you. So let's start at the beginning. When all the informal chats and letters just aren't working, the dispute doesn't have to just fizzle out. It can be escalated. And it goes to a formal body called the Strata Management Tribunal. And trust me, this is where things get official. And that leads us right to the heart of it all. Regulation 19. You should think of this as the official starting gun for the whole formal negotiation process. This is the rule that really sets the stage for everything that comes next. Okay, here it is, the exact wording from the 2015 regulations. Now, I know it looks a little technical, a bit like legalese, but it's actually pretty simple. It really only does two things. It tells us how the meeting gets arranged, and it lays out the rules for that meeting. So let's break down that first part.
All right, let's focus on that first piece, the official meeting. We're going to deconstruct Subregulation 1 just to see exactly how this whole process gets kicked off.
You know, the most important part of this whole sentence is those last three words: by the tribunal. Seriously, that changes everything. This isn't just some casual chat over coffee. This is an official, legally recognized proceeding, and it's managed by a governing body. And the logistics? They're super simple and clear. Who calls the meeting? The tribunal does. How do they let you know? You get an official document called Form 5. And what's on it? The exact date, place, and time. See? No room for any confusion. So that covers the who, where, and when. But what about the how? You know, how does this meeting actually run? Well, that brings us to the governing rules. Now we're going to dig into the second part of the regulation to really understand the legal framework here. And this brings up a pretty obvious question, right? If you're walking into a formal negotiation, you're gonna want to know what rules you're playing by. Is it just a free-for-all, or is there some kind of defined structure? Well, Regulation 19 gives us a very precise answer. It's kind of like a legal signpost, pointing us to three specific sections of the main Strata Management Act: Sections 110, 112, and 113. Now, we're not going to do a deep dive, but just know these sections cover stuff like the tribunal's power to mediate, what kind of orders it can make, and how those orders are enforced. Basically, these become the official rulebook for your negotiation. So the key thing to get here is that Regulation 19 doesn't just invent new rules out of thin air. No, it anchors the entire negotiation in the established framework of the main law. And this is so important because it ensures consistency, it ensures fairness, and it gives real legal authority to the whole process. Those three sections, that's your official rulebook. Okay, let's bring this all together now. What does this all actually mean for you? We've broken down the legal text, so here are the absolute key things you need to remember about Regulation 19. All right, here's the bottom line. First, remember, this is a formal process. It's managed by the tribunal. It's not some informal chat. Second, the logistics are all handled for you. You'll get a Form 5 that tells you exactly when and where to be. And crucially, there are defined rules, and they're pulled directly from the law, so the negotiation isn't just arbitrary. Really, Regulation 19 is the blueprint that sets the stage, and it makes sure there's a structured and fair process right from the very start. So, at the end of the day, Regulation 19 doesn't solve your dispute for you. What it does is create a level playing field. It provides the official structure, the timing, and the rules. It makes sure there's a fair process for your case to be heard. And that leaves just one final question. The framework is set. Are you ready for the negotiation?